over to the leader, we take some questions, but we've heard, and many of you have reported already, this Hate America rally that they have coming up for October 18th, the Antifa crowd and the pro-Hamas crowd and the Marxists, they're all going to gather on the mall. We got some House Democrats selling T-shirts for this event. It is an outrageous gathering for outrageous purposes, but the Democrats in the Senate have shown that they're afraid of that crowd, that they don't want to bow, that they want to bow to them, bow the knee to them, and they don't want to take incoming from them.
Okay. I've heard enough. This is outrageous. It is outrageous that a man who will not shut the about how he and Jesus Christ are BFFs.
Head of No Kings Day 2.0 this week, and organizers are expecting this to be one of the largest protests in American history. And folks around the White House and Republicans on Capitol Hill, where they're getting more nervous.
I have a problem with them calling a protest that hasn't even happened yet violent and hate-filled. And you should too.
Baby, would you take a look at this map? I pulled this map off of the No Kings website. As many of you know, Saturday, October the 18th, there will be the No Kings protests all over the U.S. I assume maybe some outside of the U.S. as well. And from what I'm hearing, the Republicans are not feeling too good about this. They have some major concerns. And when I looked at this map, I said, well, dang, I would have some concerns too.
No Kings Day protests are happening on Saturday 18th of this very month, which is this very coming Saturday. And when I tell you the demonstration is very shaken, they are labeling this Antifa, and whoever will take part in this will be part of the Antifa. And Antifa is anti-fascism, right? And they think it is a group, so they think everybody that wants to protest and take part in this protest is going to be anti-American. Now, let's not forget, in June, when it happened, it actually was one of the largest. Now, it did not only happen in America, it actually even happened on the other sides of the world, in Europe. Yeah? And now, this time, it is estimated that around 10 million to more people are going to be on the streets. And the organization is like, you know, they are really just know they are not taking it in well. And we are going to look at that, exactly that today, how they are taking it and how Americans are receiving this. If you are shaken by people just gathering, I can only imagine what's going on in this world. But welcome back to the channel. I want us to look at these videos together. We'll come back and talk about it. Do me a favor, like the video, don't forget to share and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back with more.
Trump administration is becoming very nervous about the upcoming No Kings Day 2.0 protest this weekend because estimates suggest that up to 10+ million people could be marching across the globe now in over 2,000 events. This protest is only growing with each passing day. Millions of people are gearing up to take to the streets to march and make their voices heard. And now the administration is growing nervous. That's why you see Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, go on air today and try to say that Antifa is somewhat responsible for this protest, even though there is no connection with Antifa, a decentralized group, and any of these protests. And in fact, more and more administration officials, more and more people linked to the Trump administration are getting publicly anxious about the fact that you might have a record-breaking protest in the United States of America. Spread the word. I'll be there covering it live for you. So subscribe to my Substack at the link in my bio to support my work. Follow along to stay up to date on all the news that you need to know about.
We've heard, and many of you have reported already, this Hate America rally that they have coming up for October 18th, the Antifa crowd and the pro-Hamas crowd and the Marxists, they're all going to gather on the mall. We got some House Democrats selling T-shirts for this event. It is an outrageous gathering for outrageous purposes, but the Democrats in the Senate have shown that they're afraid of that crowd, that they don't want to bow, that they want to bow to them, bow the knee to them, and they don't want to take incoming from them. And so they're willing to hold the American people hostage so that they don't have to face an angry mob that's a big chunk of their base. Now, if that's a rumor, they need to come out and clarify that it's not, but that is what we are hearing is their actual motivation, and it is outrageous. All this has got to come to an end.
Republicans tried to rebrand next weekend's No Kings rally as the Hate America rally. Apparently, rebranding Trump as a decent, lawful person just got too exhausting. Next weekend is October 18th, and while most know it as National No Beard Day, don't worry, Lindsey Graham, I'm talking about this kind of beard. A different occasion will also be taking place.
Thousands are expected to descend about the nation's capital for a No Kings rally. This is video from previous No Kings rallies across the country in June. It is set to take place on October 18th, right in front of the U.S. Capitol. The peaceful movement seeks to send a message to President Trump saying America does not put up with would-be kings.
Yeah, look. I hate to pick on this broadcast, but did you really have to use footage from the least attended No Kings rally in the nation? There were literally 5 million people at rallies across the country. There were tens of thousands of people in Chicago, New York, Minnesota. Did you have to use footage from, like, Beaconsfield, Iowa? We've got footage of a guy who might have not even been protesting. He just happened to stumble out of a Burger King and thought, well, this seems pretty fortuitous. But questionable footage aside, on Saturday, another No Kings rally will be taking place all across our country. It's a chance for citizens to rise up and voice their opposition to the undemocratic actions of this administration, an opportunity to show that this current reign of fascism is not what our nation was founded on. Or, to put it another way,
This Hate America rally that they have coming up for October 18th, it is an outrageous... Now, if that's a rumor, they need to come out and clarify that it's not, but that is what we are hearing is their actual motivation, and it is outrageous.
Oh, apparently you're allowed to start rumors now and then demand that people come out and dispel them if they really are untrue. So, seeing as that's the case, I heard that Speaker Mike Johnson has some cars. That's right, the rumor is the Speaker of the House likes to get untoward with a Ford. He yearns to get his peace on with a Nissan. Mike Johnson has never seen a gas tank that didn't want to make him empty his own tank. Now, if that's a rumor, he should just come out and clarify his stance. But again, from everything that I'm hearing, Mike Johnson is a big-time car. And Mike isn't just mad about the rally itself, he is mad about the merch being sold. And here I was thinking that Donald Trump floating the idea of invoking the Insurrection Act to deploy troops on American soil was bad, but that's nothing compared to selling t-shirts. Yes, if there's one thing that is a clear red line for this Republican Party, it's the sale of merch. That's right. If nothing else, today's GOP cares about protecting the sanctity of their politics without looking like grifting con men. If someone even mentions merch, you will not only lose their attention, but also their respect. Because for Trump and Republicans, they're not here to make money. They're here to help the American people, even if they're bankrupted in the process. And the Speaker isn't the only Republican doing his damnedest to rebrand this rally.
This is about one thing, and one thing only: to score political points with the terrorist wing of their party, which is set to hold, as Leader Scalise just commented on, a Hate America rally in D.C. next week.
Look, maybe I'm not as well-versed as Majority Whip Tom Emmer on scoring political points with terrorists, but I don't think holding peaceful protests around the country really puts the numbers up on the board like he thinks it does. But at least he's doing his part when it comes to following Speaker Johnson's advice.
If we all adopt these practices together and we turn down the rhetoric...
Exactly. Anyone else want to paint this rally as something other than what it is?
October 18th is when the protest gets here. This will be a Soros paid-for protest where his professional protesters show up, the agitators show up.
Oh, that's a great reminder to the millions of Soros employees who showed up to the protest back in June. Do not forget to fill out your time card. You'll only have one person to blame if your paychecks are late, and it won't be George. Anyone else?
If in fact they are waiting for this No Kings protest, No Kings means no paychecks.
Wow, I'm pretty thrown here because I thought that No Kings was pretty on the nose in its description of what it means. It doesn't mean no paychecks because presumably that would be the No Paychecks Parade, which is famously at the end of April. But No Kings actually means that we don't want to live under a monarchy, hence the whole No Kings thing. But I could see how he could get confused, what with Trump's piece in his mouth blocking the flow of oxygen to his brain. And look, there is a reason that Trump and his mouthpieces are so hell-bent on vilifying this peaceful protest. There's a reason that they're trying to prevent millions of people from taking to the streets for what is expected to be one of, if not the largest protest in American history. The reality is that we're not only heading toward an authoritarian takeover of our government, we are in the midst of one. But remember that all of us still have agency. And just as someone told Al Pacino about his libido, while we've still got that, we should use it. This administration has been incredibly effective at getting moneyed interests to capitulate to him over and over again. Universities, law firms, media outlets, all of these institutions have decided that democracy was just too damn expensive, and so they caved. But the reason that they're seeking such consistent attempts at rebranding this No Kings rally is because the one thing that Republicans and Donald Trump can't leverage is the general populace. These guys are trying to scientifically engineer a sense of despair and hopelessness because they also know about the 3.5% rule. Political scientist Erica Chenoweth compiled research that shows it takes around 3.5% of the population actively participating in protest to ensure serious political change, which in America equates to 11 million people. And while that sounds like a lot, the protest in June had 5 million. or 7 people, depending on which broadcast you watched. But doubling our numbers is doable because we have so much more to be angry about now. Don't forget, this summer's rally was before Donald Trump took healthcare away from millions of Americans. This was before Trump instructed his DOJ to seek retribution on his political opponents. This was before Donald Trump's tariff war destroyed the businesses of farmers across America. And this was before we had to witness ICE agents doing horrific things like this.
That's some crazy. I got no heart, for real. No heart. No heart.
That is why we need to show up on Saturday, to send a message to this administration that we are not okay with their authoritarian tactics. Donald Trump and his sycophantic Republicans are desperately trying to rebrand this rally, not because it's some dangerous Antifa meeting, but expressly because they are scared. Because a mass uprising in this country whose participants can't be extorted is extremely dangerous for an administration that derives all of its power from the optics of total control. This gathering on October 18th is a chance to stand up and show that fighting for democracy is a virtuous cause. Because when you've been supporting an autocrat since he started his second term, that is what I'd consider a
Hate America rally.
Well, the Trump administration is saying it's No King's Day that's keeping them from reopening the government. So, Texas Paul, hope your coffee's as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. I do. I hope it's better. Believe them when they tell you what they are. Those of us that have been to No King's Day protests know that they're not interfering with government in any way, shape, or form. All they're doing is telling you they can't govern. And this is just the latest excuse. Believe them. They can't govern.
I've heard enough. This is outrageous. It is outrageous that a man who will not shut the fuck about how he and Jesus Christ are BFFs can get on television and just brazenly lie like that. The epicenter, the heartbeat of American democracy is protest, specifically at the mall in Washington. For him to say that it is a hate rally, for him to say that it is a pro-Hamas rally, for him to call half of Americans, and I would even argue it's more than half, I think it's probably 70% of Americans that oppose him, oppose his boss, Hanks. For him to call everybody haters is unreal. I would advise Pipsqueak, Moses, Mike Johnson to just do a little gander at Truth Social and look at Donald Trump's posts, because there's nothing more hateful, nothing more dishonest, nothing more anti-American than the president of the United States. And Moses Mike Johnson is the worst Speaker of the House. He is not only that, he's a terrible human being. Yeah. He is an absolute disgrace, not only to our country, but to our species. He's not a beta male. He is a zeta male. This guy is a bottom feeder, grifter, opportunist that exploits people of faith and lures them in. And then he fucks them every chance he can get, while he's also fucking Constitution. And then later that night, he's on Grindr fucking some guy that during the day he's saying is a sinner going to hell and he wants to take rights away from him.
I don't think there's ever been a more vocal hypocrite that stands for everything about evil. Like when I think of evil and meanness and cruelty, Mike Johnson's face hits to my face. And the projection is crazy because January 6th, he thought that was a dust step. And he says that this protest is a hate rally and Democrats are scared. No, we're energized to protest against you, Mike Johnson. And I just want to remind everybody, because I always do, the reason he's so comfortable protecting files, his mentor in the College of Law, which he would have been dean, was a predator with the Southern Baptist Convention, and Mike Johnson covered it up then. He's able to do it now.
All right. One thing that we haven't spent enough time on is browbeating the Senate Majority Leader, John Thune. And this guy is really, he tries to kind of be out of the spotlight because he knows if he's on camera, he would have to defend what Trump's doing. So he kind of is just staying back. But he did do an interview or a speech this weekend and was questioned by the press. Play the clip.
Supermajority requirement is something that...
Pause it real quick. No offense to short men, but look at the height disparity. Little pipsqueak, Moses Mike. Okay, play the clip.
And honestly, if we had done that, there's a whole lot of bad things that could have been done by the other side. The 60 vote threshold has protected this country, and frankly, that's what I think this last election was largely about, because if the Democrats had won the majority, they probably would have tried to nuke the filibuster. And then you'd have 4 new United States senators from Puerto Rico and the District of Columbia. You'd have a PAC Supreme Court. You'd have abortion on demand.
Right there, stop.
Well, in case you are not aware, there is another No Kings protest across the country planned for this upcoming Saturday, October 18th. And if you plan to be in attendance, There are a couple things you should know. Number one, the Trump administration is circulating this idea that the No Kings protest is going to be a hotbed of Antifa activity. Antifa, if you don't know, stands for anti-fascist, and the Trump administration has designated them a terrorist organization. There's only one problem with that, though. Antifa is not a group, it's not a club, it has no members or membership. It's an ideology. You know what is a group, though? The KKK, the Klan, the Proud Boys, Turning Point USA, the Groypers. They're a group. But anyway, I digress. The fact that the Trump administration is going out of their way to designate Antifa as a terrorist organization, despite not being an organization at all, should tell you that they're using it as an umbrella term to harass and detain anyone they don't agree with. And the fact that the administration, like I said before, is trying to circulate this idea that the protest is going to be a hotbed for Antifa activity should let you know exactly the kind of timing they're on. So if you're going to attend, here's some things you should probably do. Number one, do not bring your phone or any electronic device that can be tracked. No iPhone, no Fitbit, no Samsung, no Android, no Pixel, no Apple Watch, nothing. You're finna be out there like it's 1995. Don't bring nothing with you. If you absolutely must have it on your person, you are going to go on Amazon.com and buy what is known as a Faraday pouch. This is going to be a bag that you can carry with you, small bag, that will block any incoming and outgoing signals from any devices placed inside of it. Makes it that much harder to track. Second thing you're going to do, right? If you're going to be out there, do not be out there plain face. No, we all have disdain for these YNs, but they had the right idea with these shiesties. You're going to get a shiesty and mask the fuck up. You feel what I'm saying to you? The name of the game here, right, is to restrict all the different ways you can be tracked simply by being present. Because trust me when I say they will be tracking you. I also saw a video from Corn Pop about 2 hours ago talking about how they're going to be at this protest across the country doing retinal scans from afar. So go ahead, throw some glasses in there also. Again, the name of the game is to restrict all the different ways you can be identified from afar simply by being present at a protest you have every right to be at. Don't give these people any ammunition to hem you up. And last but not least, if you're going to go to this protest, keep your head on a fucking swivel, all right? There's going to be agitators. This ICE is going to be present. I guarantee it. Do not tangle with these folks. Dip out at the first sign of trouble. I'm trying to tell you, because they're trying to use any and every incident that might pop off at any one of these protests across the country as justification to unleash the hounds, all right? So don't give them any reasons. Don't bring your phone. If you have to, bring a Faraday pouch, mask up, put the glasses on, and be safe. All right, take care.
Frumpy is going to use the Insurrection Act on No King's Day. It's the perfect day to use the Insurrection Act to call for martial law. Everybody that's protesting this man and marching in those streets on October 18th will be seen as Antifa. I was thinking about that shit all yesterday, how close he is to getting the chance to enact the Insurrection Act. And No King's Day, which they're calling non-American Day. People protesting against America. America's supposed to be free. We're not supposed to have kings. So it's kind of counterproductive. But they're going to use that day. He's going to use that day to try to invoke the Insurrection Act. I feel like he's going to put people in places inside of those crowds to start shit and to make it turn violent and reckless. I do not put it past this man to use the day that people are marching against fascism, against authoritarianism, against a fucked up administration that doesn't give a shit about its people, against an administration that is cutting healthcare, cutting education, cutting access to anything and everything to help the American people as a way to gain full control of the United States of America. I mean, he already has everything in place. He's put all his little minions in every place in the administration to control everyone. ICE is the largest department we have now, and they're all loyal to him for a buck. I ask y'all to stay safe, and if you see somebody inciting that shit, shut them down. Don't let it get out of hand. Don't give this man nothing. He already knows he's not going to heaven. So why not set shit off before you leave?
I truly believe that Trump is going to use the No Kings protest this weekend to declare martial law or invoke the Insurrection Act. Here's why I think that. Earlier today, a memo was leaked, or I think intentionally leaked, that said federal agents have alerted local law enforcement that anyone attending these protests or rallies anywhere in the country are suspected to be terrorists. Anyone who does not want a dictatorial, monarch-like ruler in the United States is now suspected to be a terrorist, just by showing up there. And I really think that they're going to try and start trouble. And I think they're going to try and start trouble in larger cities. One, because it's easier to infiltrate in large crowds. And two, it's what's going to get media attention. Let's be real. He runs everything like a reality show. If trouble starts in a city like Chicago or New York or Boston or LA or Portland, he's going to go, see, I told you so. And he's going to use that to invoke the Insurrection Act or martial law in that area. And it's going to spread. And this will also be the beginning of the end of the regime, because people, well, any decent Republicans left, that is, will see that this is the most un-American administration, the most unconstitutional thing that could possibly be done. America was founded never to have a dictatorial monarch. That was never the intention of our founders. The intention of our uninformed and undereducated electorate, I can't speak to that because I'm not one of those. I'm one of the overeducated. And I know you're going to come in the comments at that. I don't care. But be careful this weekend. That's my prediction. It is my opinion. It is a prediction.
about 8:15 p.m. West Coast time on Tuesday. I think it's October 14th. Earlier today, this evening, the LA County Board of Supervisors, their local government, declared a state of emergency for Los Angeles County. Normally something that is reserved for natural disasters, earthquakes, wildfires, tsunamis, I don't know. This evening, they declared a state of emergency relative to ICE and ICE raids in the city. They declared a state of emergency in response to federal law enforcement in Los Angeles County because of the things that federal law enforcement and ICE agents are doing to the residents of Los Angeles County. This will make affected residents eligible for financial support, housing support. They declared a state of emergency in response to the horrific Nazi-like behavior of Gestapo ICE agents in California, in the United States of America. I firmly believe that this administration is going to take advantage of the No Kings protests this coming Saturday all across the United States to start a shitload of violence. Because that's what ICE agents are doing. They're going around the country and they are starting violence. Please be careful on Saturday.
I have a problem with them calling a protest that hasn't even happened yet violent and hate-filled. And you should too. And if you don't have a problem with that, we fundamentally have different understandings of what being an American is, or what living in the United States actually is. I know it takes a cult mentality and a weak, persuadable mind to be able to do this to somebody, but imagine what it would feel like if the government were to successfully convince you that a certain group of people in this country, because of their political affiliation, was a domestic terrorist, operating under the umbrella of a domestic terrorist organization. Would you continue wanting to call them, text them, invite them over for the holidays, especially if you were afraid that the government was going to come after you because you were affiliated with a domestic terrorist? Especially with people that live and function under a fear-based system, which is basically the entire Maga Republican Party. They're going to fear the repercussions of what would happen to them if somebody were to find out that they were still friends or associates or family with a domestic terrorist. They might even be feeling a calling or a sense of urgency at this point to want to turn you in. Maybe send an anonymous letter to the FBI that you're posting stuff that's anti-Trump and anti-American and anti-capitalist and anti-Christian. And that's honestly giving them maybe too much credit. Maybe it's not fear. Maybe it's an overinflated sense of misplaced justice and vindication that they feel on behalf of the regime in charge. Donald Trump points his finger at the camera and says, every Democrat is an enemy within. They are going to believe it. The right has completely different ideas of what makes a good leader and a bad leader, but in my opinion, no good leader has ever existed that has torn families apart, ideologically or physically. He is tearing not just immigrant families apart, but he's tearing apart families that have been here for generations, families of mixed political opinion. This is something that I don't think any good leader would facilitate. The divide in this country is deep, and I don't know if it's ever going to heal because the veil's been lifted. Where is there to go back to? And I'm supposed to believe that when a Democrat president takes over and rights the wrongs of the Trump administration, that everything's going to go back to normal? Don't sit there and tell me that I shouldn't feel the way that I feel about MAGA and the Trump administration when all they've done is call me a domestic terrorist this entire time.
Baby, would you take a look at this map? I pulled this map off of the No Kings website. As many of you know, Saturday, October the 18th, there will be the No Kings protests all over the U.S. I assume maybe some outside of the U.S. as well. And from what I'm hearing, the Republicans are not feeling too good about this. They have some major concerns. And when I looked at this map, I said, well, dang, I would have some concerns too, because this will be millions of people that are protesting against him. And yeah, I'm still saying that he didn't win. I don't care what no one says. But to have this many events going on, I'm sure it's going to be a record amount of people that are out there that are going to be protesting. I can't wait to see it.
Okay, since we all know that No King's Day is like 35 seconds away, and we definitely all know that Trump is out here trying to use any kind of behavior to justify the Insurrection Act. So I don't know if you guys have seen this video. Most people probably have. Let me just play.
Clear in your instructions. These peaceful protesters are exercising their First Amendment right. They do not understand.
Okay, and if you're like me, you watched that and you were like, damn, I wish I knew what he was saying. So I went through and just like played it, typed it out, whatever. And I just put it in a Word document. So you can go over there and copy and paste it. If you just go to askrafaela.com, which forwards to my Linktree page, I think it's like the fourth link down. It says unviolent de-escalation speech for protesters. Copy it, put it in your phone, share it with your friends, because we need to be as non-violent and professional as possible. That man is a lawyer, by the way. He's not like some random Joe. Even if he were, it's still great advice. I had to film this because what he was saying was so on point, and I want to make sure that we have something to reference so you can hand it over to the person that's in the crowd that has the bullhorn. This is so great. I wish I could give this man a high five.
Republicans in Congress have already started to label the planned October 18th No King's Day protest as a Antifa terror event. House Majority Speaker Mike Johnson came out and said that it is a Hate America Day event, but the House Majority Whip Tom Emmer took it one step further and said that it will be a terror IST event. This is how they are going to stop dissent against the Trump administration. If they label anyone that shows up to the No King's Day protest as anti-America, anti-fascist, Antifa, guess what? Because of that EO that Trump signed, they're going to say that they are domestic terrorists. And by doing so, they can just start arresting people. Doesn't matter if they are peaceful or not, they will just start gathering people, putting them into unmarked vans like they've already been doing in Portland and Chicago. And slowly, we continue to see the death of the idea of America.
Still no kings. Millions of people are going to protest Trump on Saturday. And people, when I say millions, I mean millions. This could be the biggest protest ever. Even in Europe. Just the sheer size of events that are going on this Saturday is unbelievable. So just like last year, millions of people will take to the streets again this Saturday to protest the autocratic regime of President Donald Trump, his government shutdown, and his demolition of Medicare, Medicaid, and other public programs in service of tax cuts for billionaires. If that's not a statement, I don't know what is. As of last Friday, 2,500 events were planned across every state, Europe, and Canada. It's a big one, guys, and they're organized. They're training people for messaging, media, digital engagement, training them. And they got protest safety, know your rights, de-escalation training. This is the real deal, people. And I feel like this is a pretty large gathering last year. And if they're saying this year it's going to be like quadruple the amount of people, but I will say it was peaceful last year. I'm just surprised how organized this is. Is Antifa going to show up? Didn't seem to last year. All I can say is get ready for Saturday. It just might be eventful.
Every time the US keep looking like a third world, I don't know, it's so embarrassing to even be like, yo, it reminds me of where I come from. I'm just saying, those are signs of dictatorship. And I can assure you, I know what that means and what that feels like. Because I see that firsthand. I experience it. So, for the rest of the world, people be thinking, oh, maybe we can, have some, we console ourselves and be like, oh, America is like that too. Yeah. And I'm saying this jokingly, but I mean exactly that, like for real. Every day, US seems and sounds like a third world with a dictator that has been in power for the longest. Now, if you're watching me from Uganda and you're in any positions of power, please leave me alone, okay? I'm talking about US. But it sounds like a third world with a leader that has been, holding on to power so bad and tries to suppress every concern the public voices. That's what it feels like. And that's not how it's supposed to be feeling like. That's why a lot of people are like, because let me tell you this, okay? Let me tell you this. US is not like Uganda. Oh, I said it, yeah. US is not like Uganda. The more you keep suppressing people, the more those that see you suppressing them be like, oh, he's in the wrong, let us join, let us join, let us join. The more this administration keeps fear-mongering people, the more even Republicans are going to join in. Because a lot of them are like, a lot of them are not happy with some of the things that are happening. Antifa is not a group, it's an ideology. And if we are to be honest, most Americans are Antifas. Because the reason as to why they ran away from England and came and looted and did whatever they did, they were tired of being under a king. So they came, they are what? I don't know how to call the term is out of my head and I am not ready to, stress myself with English, okay? But yeah, they established their own thing. These were lawless people. Same thing like Australia. These were lawless people. Like, they don't want to be under anybody. Yeah, so if you want to bring this and then you keep suppressing people, of course, let me tell you, the reason as to why they are afraid is because what happened in June was big. Now, I am thinking because these people unleashed the military onto the American public, right? And they really, because can we be for real? These people knew on the 18th, No King's Day protest is going to be happening. And that's when they decided to bring admirals and military generals to the country. And that's when they, unleash and open, and reveal all the plans they have, how they are going to call the militaries to be in American cities. So I want you guys to know, like a lot of people, I think I will bring you episodes of Americans giving you guys, guidelines on what to do on this day. But from the look of things, you see. And a lot of people are speculating he is trying to unleash martial law. And I don't know how true that is, but it might be true too. Because you have seen some of the things that he's done. I don't think this can be something that you can doubt. You see how he called Poland a war zone. And every day we see people wearing frog, whatever's, costumes. And by the way, if you don't know what is happening, on Amazon, the frog costume is done, finished. They don't have any. Every day, the frogs keep increasing on the streets. And I am expecting to see a lot of people under those costumes because these people are going to look for any means to crush down people that are going to come and protest peacefully. I don't know if black people are going to be there, but I would advise not. Sorry. You can report, you can speak on this, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not trying to fearmonger anybody. You'll know the right thing to do, okay? But I feel like that day they are going to do their level best to agitate people. Because imagine, before the people that are going to protest are out to even say anything, the administration is already out trying to fearmonger people. And that's one of the biggest problems because they always come out to fearmonger people. And let me tell you this, the reason as why they do that is to justify their actions on that day. And also, they are afraid that it's going to be bigger than his Trump's whatever. Which day was that? There's that day when is in military parade or that one. Yeah. This is going to be bigger. The one that happened in June, it was huge. Now, this one that is happening now is going to be even tripled or even. I'll be here bringing you the news, but from what it looks like, that organization is in panic mode because it feels like, every time you guys come out on the street, you expose their lies and you expose how evil they are, and the rest of the world will be looking, by the way. Mind you, yes, the rest of the world be looking, and this is not a good picture to them who call themselves good leaders. So to them, that takes the credit away, and trust me, they will do anything to make sure that credit does not go, does not get taken away. So with that being said, everybody that is going to be protesting, you need to watch out. You need to watch out because these people don't want to the rest of the world to see that they are actually bad. Now, probably they have done some good things as well, but then if you're trying to literally spread this propaganda so that you make other people afraid, oh yeah, indeed, these propaganda organizations, everybody that wants to believe these things, please do research. It is very, very important to do research and educate yourself. Not everything that comes out of the mouth of the government is true. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they are wrong, and on this one, they are very, very wrong. But let me know what you think in the comment section about this panic. Is it legit? Do they think that these people are planning to go and take their man out of the office? I don't think people are going to do that. Anywho, put those comments in the section down there. We'll continue with the conversation in there. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. From me for today, that's it. I do love all of you guys. And I want you guys to stay safe. May God watch over you, protect you, and yeah, see you guys later. Bye.